Shalom, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem HaKodesh. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who are the true leaders of Israel today. And salutations to all of the Akim, who do this work in truth and sincerity, who are risking their lives and their freedoms to do so, as well as the scattered Israelites who come looking like the heathen, but are not by way of their forefathers' seeds, who are Israelite men. The true name of the Most High is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahushai. And the Lord's holy chosen people are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as we're the ones who are suffering under the curses in the book of Deuteronomy. My name is Akalil, and hot topic, the Mark of the Beast prophecy, which is in fact the microchip. Alright, so this video is, what is the microchip? Or rather, what is the mark of the beast? Well, what is the microchip is also, the answer to that is that it is the mark of the beast. And what is the mark of the beast? It is the microchip. Alright, so firstly, let's understand what the microchip is that is being referred to. All right, so I'm taking it here from RFID microchip, but there are also other names for it, such as the biometric microchip and also the transdermal microchip. Okay, the biometric microchip and the transdermal microchip, it functions in the exact same way as the RFID microchip. And so that is why we say microchip. All right. An RFID microchip is a small passive RFID device or radio frequency identification device, typically the size of a grain of rice, used primarily for animal identification, secure access control, and inventory tracking. It consists of a tiny integrated circuit and a small antenna encased in biocompatible glass. Okay, so human implants. Some people use them, and people are implanted with these RFID microchips right now. Some people use them as subdermal hand implants to unlock smart doors or store digital contact cards, though they do not track GPS locations, which that is a lie, because there's something called a digital footprint. Okay, so every time these individuals use the microchip that is implanted in their hand, they're leaving a digital footprint. Okay, and the way that things are going is that the prophecy is going to become something worldwide, and the microchip is going to be a requirement in order to buy and sell. So that means that the way how the people who will be implementing it, who are the Edomites, specifically their ruling class, the wicked elite of Esau Edom, is that people are going to be walking around with this microchip implanted inside of their body, interacting with these smart cities and these 15-minute cities at every single step that they make in life. You see? So there is a digital footprint. So it does in fact track you. Okay? So anyway, it says, like from this website, The Medical Futurist, everything you need to know before getting an RFID implant. RFID implants offer practical benefits as contactless payments, unlocking doors, and accessing medical data with just a wave of your hand. So the microchip is this right here. Okay, and it is a digital device that stores and records an individual's identification and biometrics. It also contains an individual's financial and banking information. It also contains an individual's medical information. It can contain anything about an individual that is wanted to be stored on it. And then it also functions as a way to unlock doors. So you have this girl in America called Chip Girl that's on the social media. She shows that she has her microchip, and in her home, she walks around and she opens up the doors in her home. She also can use her microchip to make payments. Okay, so we can take, let's listen to this.
A doctor inserts the microchip between your thumb and index finger using a device similar to a syringe. Now, these chips can actually be really helpful tools, and they utilize the same technology used in phone payments. With this tiny device, your body essentially becomes a contactless key. It can open doors using sensors and can even start a car. They last anywhere from 10 to 20 years and can be removed with a small incision in the
All right, so that's a very quick and precise
chip between your
illustration of what it is, right? As you can see, it is, a device is used to pierce the flesh to insert the microchip. And that microchip is the mark of the beast. All right, so we understand what the microchip is and how it functions. Once again, it is a digital device that is inserted into the body that has an individual's information stored on it, and that pertains to really any kind of information that an individual wants to store on it. But right now, it has an individual's personal information and identification, financial information, medical records, stuff like that. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now let's go into the prophecy. Revelation 13 and verse 16, and he causeth all. The he that will be causing this are those that I just mentioned, who are the wicked elite of Esau, Edom, who are the elite bankers, who are the ruling class of the Edomites, who are these so-called white people. They're in their kingdom right now. This is their rulership. And right now, we're living through it. It is called their fourth industrial revolution, which is really just another name for their new world order. All right, they are transforming the world into a digital system, which is all about them really ushering in a next level slavery system, and it's going to be a digital slavery system where they're building up these digital prisons, which are the 15-minute cities and the smart cities, and then they intend to mark their slaves, which is going to be that microchip, right? And then the slaves are going to be walking around with the microchip, going about their daily lives using the microchip for every single facet of their life, from opening up doors and stuff like that to when the individuals go to the grocery store, when they go for medical services, any kind of financial services, when they go for government services, anything. It will be required to have a microchip in order to gain access to the services that the world has to offer. This is where it's all going to. So it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. It is going to be for everyone. It doesn't matter who they are, their social status, their celebrity status, their monetary status, if they're imprisoned or not. They intend to microchip everyone. And it is going to be a requirement in order to what? Buy and sell. Okay? To receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So it is a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right? So the mark is inside the right hand or in their foreheads. Okay? And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So we know, once again, if an individual, when the prophecy is fulfilled, does not have the mark of the beast, which is that microchip, they will not be able to buy or sell, which means that they will be shut out from what society has to offer. You're going to be shut out from the system. Okay? So now, regarding how it is exactly that we know that the mark of the beast is a microchip, is because of the breakdown of the word mark at G5480. So let's remember this. It says a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, so when we go to G5480, it provides us with the Greek word charagma, and it's in Greek because the prophet John on the island of Patmos received this vision from Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai during our Roman captivity, in which the dominant language was Greek. That's what they were speaking. So John spoke Greek. So when John saw, was presented with the vision, and he saw the mark of the beast prophecy and its fulfillment, okay, he saw what was the microchip itself being inserted into, as he says, the right hand or the forehead. Okay, and the charagma is something that is physical. We know that, okay, because that's what a charagma is. A charagma, as it says, a stamp and imprinted mark. So in ancient Rome, what happened was that the ruling class that had their slaves, they would mark their slaves, they would brand their slaves, right? Just like how those Greek fraternities and sororities, right? Like the alphas, the Qs, the sigmas, and the kappas, they follow those ancient Roman practices. And so when they pledge their allegiance to that false Roman god that they worship within whichever fraternity or sorority, oftentimes some of them will literally charagma themselves, right? Place a mark upon themselves. But we know this physical mark, right? This stamp and imprinting mark that is physical, that it is in fact a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. You see? So it is inside of the body. And going back to this right here, the microchip is inserted into the body. You see? And so you have the microchip in both the hand and the forehead. The forehead is referring to the brain microchip, which are called brain computer interfaces, BCIs. That's the brain microchip, right? They also literally do call it the brain microchip. All right, that is the mark of the beast, right? As well as the microchip in the hand. Okay, so it is inserted into the body, right? This mark, it is a physical mark. And then when we go to G5482, it says Carax, right? It says a pale or stake, a palisade or a rampart. Now this Carax is actually talking about the device used to administer the microchip. Okay, so it is talking about this right here. Let's go back to this video. This right here, this device, that white thing right there. Let's go to Google Images. Okay. This right here. This is the Carax. This is the device used to administer the microchip. And that's the microchip right there. That's the mark of the beast. Right? So when you go back to this and it says a pale or stake, a palisade or a rampart, right? We have to keep remembering that John is seeing the times that we're in now, right? From his position in Roman captivity. He's seen things that he's never seen before, like the microchip, yeah? And the device used to administer the microchip. So he is describing things the best that he can using the Greek. So he said Carax, right? And so it shows what a Carax is. Now, when you go to the Google, right, we can look up a palisade. But in this case, we look up a medieval palisade. All right, and so we can see what it looks like, okay? It is referred to as one of these things here where, the wood and timbers are cut a certain kind of way where at the point of it is sharp and edged. Yeah, you see it there. Here as well, you see? The sharp pointed end is what it's referring to, right? And that's what this device is. It is a sharp device that pierces the flesh to administer the microchip, which is that charagma, right? And then when you look at a stake as well, okay, because it described these things as stake, you can see what it is, right? Stake item I typed in, it's like something with a sharp pointed end. It's referring to this right here. So this is the Carax, okay? So then to break it down further at G1125, it says grapho, to write with reference to the form of the letters, to delineate or form letters on a tablet, parchment paper, or other material. To write with reference to the contents of the writing, to express in written characters, to commit to writing, things not to be forgotten, write down, record. Okay, so the grapho part now is referring to, right, when you go to the microchip, it's referring to the point here where it's saying that it has these things on it, right? Such as an individual's identity document, criminal record, medical history, medications, address book, and other potential uses, including financial information and all of that. That is the grapho. So when you break down the word mark from Charagma, which is a microchip itself, Corax, the device used to administer the microchip, and then the Grapho, which are, the things written down and recorded, the information that it presents, that's already stored on it, that when it is scanned, it presents that information. There is literally nothing else on this planet that equalizes to the breakdown other than the microchip. Yeah, only the microchip relates to this. There's nothing else in this world. And that's what it is. With that, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kodash. Shalom.